Hello, we're playing Call of Duty Black Ops, number 8 on our 2010 Game of the Year list. I'm Tom Pearson. I'm joined by Martin Gaston.
Good afternoon.
And President Kennedy.
Hello, it is very good to be here.
It's nice to see you.
I'm glad you're here to comment on this.
Well, I took time out from my secret dealings in the governing of America in an underground bunker to come here today to celebrate Black Ops.
Well, you recorded a few scenes for this game, I believe, and how was that for you?
It was kind of tricky. It was quite hard seeing the moment when I was shot in the head at the end there, but that didn't actually happen. It was a conspiracy theory that was conducted to hide me from the public view.
Yes, I mean that would have been quite a fatal blow. But you're here now. That's all that matters.
What actually happened was there was a stunt double, and he switched, and that was the guy whose brains you saw on that day.
And so what do you think of Call of Duty Black Ops, President Kennedy?
I thought it was quite a good game. I can't do this. I can't keep it up. I tried. I'm going to sound like a
Neon Kelly.
I thought it was quite a good game, guys. It was quite good, wasn't it? It was a bit similar to last year's game in some respects, but I think that's what we all expected.
This is your favourite level, isn't it, Neil?
This is my favourite level, yeah.
Your favourite level?
I think so. This or the flashback one.
Most of them are flashbacks, aren't they? Oh,
well,
the war one.
Yeah,
the war one.
All right, pedant. Yes, you're right. Yeah, no.
Yeah, World War II.
This one and the Reznov level. I thought this was one of the levels. I thought it was an interestingly designed level. It was one of the slightly more varied bits.
It's a bit corridory.
It is a bit, but then when you get outside into the rooftops,
there's some nice jumping sequences.
I died in this bit a lot because I couldn't get up the ladder to escape the gas quick enough because I'm crap like that.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was good. I think I have quite a few criticisms of the campaign in this, but I think one of the things it does well, and this level in particular does well, is that it does sort of like kind of tap into that murky secret stuff that we all kind of like to think was going on in the 60s, which probably was, in all fairness.
Yeah.
That kind of conspiracy theory type stuff, and this just seems, nasty Jack Bauer style interrogation at the beginning, and then running gun battle, and then when you get outside, it just felt that kind of being out on the rooftops just feels quite different to everything else. Even you're right though, it is more linear, isn't it? Really, the whole game's quite linear, but
I think it's one of the most linear levels of the game. Numbers.
Modern Warfare 2 was a bit higher in the list, I believe.
It was, yes.
It was. How does this sort of game stack up? Do we think to Modern Warfare 2?
Well,
is it better? I mean,
I don't know. I enjoy the multiplayer more. I don't think the campaign is as good.
The impression I get is that the single player is, while it's very good, isn't quite up to Modern Warfare 2. However, the multiplayer is phenomenal. They've fixed everything and they've made it very good.
There's a lot I like about the campaign. I mean, I like the fact I think it moves a lot quicker. It's less bogged down, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel quite as slick as the game we got last year. I mean, and I replayed Modern Warfare 2's campaign fairly recently, and it was just so I mean, you said in your review, Martin, that it had that kind of massive sense of spectacle. It's kind of felt like a blockbuster. And although this is less, this isn't quite so. It doesn't feel like the world is ending at any given moment. Quite so much.
I think its biggest failing is that it doesn't feel like as much of an event as Modern Warfare 2.
But do you think that's just because it came after Modern Warfare 2? I mean,
to an extent, but like I put in the review, I think part of what Modern Warfare 2, the contemporary dealings of it, you can't help but pay attention more than this, because Vietnam and stuff, and the fact that the plot is preposterous and fictional makes it feel very, there's a disconnection that you didn't really have when you play Modern Warfare 2. I mean, Modern Warfare 2 is
completely preposterous, but you're right, it kind of is closer to what's going on, or at least there are things you see. I memean, we don't need to start talking about No Russian again, but that did tap into stuff, that I suppose happened in our lifetime. And with this, I thought it was really good. I've had issues with the way it kind of jumped around as well. I think that kind of, I've said before, I think the fact that they although I understand what they were trying to do, it kind of made the whole campaign not feel quite so much of a continuous whole. But
I think
it's great fun, though.
Instead of comparing it to Modern Warfare 2, I like to compare it more to World at War, which was Treyarch's last game.
Yeah.
And the studio's clearly come on leaps and bounds in terms of design, just understanding what makes Call of Duty fun to play.
And the detail is still amazing. I mean, look at this. I'm just like looking at this now as we're chatting. The lighting and just the detail at any given moment is really quite something. How smooth it is, how it's constantly You know, that 60 frames per second.
It's
frame
quite
rate.
important though, getting that
It's
60
huge,
frames. I mean, I know with games coming out next year, I've heard, like, for example, Gears of War 3 are trying to push graphics, but they're not worried about frame rate. But something like this is really important, especially for multiplayer. Like, you've got to have that 60 frames, otherwise it can't be the best multiplayer.
I mean, I suppose Halo gets by without it, right? I mean, but then Halo is a slightly slower pace.
It's not
game
just
anyway.
Halo; it's every other first-person shooter on the console.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
Is there another one that does it? There must be.
The only other game I remember being 60 frames a second on the console in 2010 was Dante's Inferno. Like, I might be missing one, but it's you don't see a lot of it. I know whenever I go back to playing Black Ops Online, it's like I've got to readjust.
Yeah.
It takes me a few minutes. Like, I feel like I'm just running at 7 times the speed of everything else.
Yeah.
And it's...
This level, though, I just think what I like, this level kind of feels quite messy. It feels like something's gone wrong, you know, and the kind of the rain, you know, which I suppose is a bit of a cliche. It just works on this level. It kind of feels it's all going to pot, and there are people shooting you from all over the place, and of course, spoilers for anyone who's not seen this level, the way it ends as well, it doesn't exactly go perfectly. And I kind of almost felt that with the Vietnam levels, which were kind of the levels that tend to come for the most criticism in my experience, they had a load of stuff that you kind of recognise from kind of all the Vietnam films, you know, the kind of the almost the cliches of that era. But it didn't really feel messy so much. It just felt like, I think those were the bits where the kind of the seams showed the most.
KSAR is one of the I mean, I think that's straight after this, isn't it? Or
the Hilltop? No, I think it's before this. I can't remember.
But that was one of the... Again, that's one of the points where it feels like old Call of Duty.
Exactly. But here, I think they do quite a good job of hiding it all. It just feels quite... I think they just kind of wow you with the way it looks, and, you know, it looks interesting.
It's one of the few levels where you don't play as Mason as well.
Yeah, that's true.
You're Ed Harris's Hudson at this point, and he's a bit more cold. I think he doesn't really...
He was a good character, wasn't he?
Hudson's alright, apart from the bit near the end of the game where he puts on his sunglasses because it's time for action.
Yeah, that made me think about that.
That's cringeworthy.
Oh,
I don't know. Isn't there a bit in Airplane where someone wears shades very prominently and they take them off and they're wearing another pair of shades underneath?
Yeah.
I kind of was half expecting that. But he's really good. I thought he was better than Sam Worthington, actually.
Yeah.
Sam Worthington was okay, but...
He's not a man famed for his ability to act.
what, Sam Worthington?
He's alright.
Well, he wasn't particularly...
He's been quite...
He's more famous for his ability to act than his ability to, say, bake blueberry muffins.
True, but no one goes, oh, Sam Worthington's performance in Avatar was phenomenal.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
partly because he was in I mean, we're getting off topic now, but he was in a film with, you know, unbelievably expensive 3D graphics, so that's why everyone talks about that, I think.
I said, well,
He's no De Niro, though.
his
you're right.
voice alone doesn't have the zing of Ed Harris. Like, Ed Harris sounds very good. And Sam Worthington's not, and the fact that he can't quite decide on what accent he wants to use for the game makes it even worse for poor Sam. But
well, we were talking as well. I'm not sure about the idea of having voiceover for a first-person character, to be honest. But
Oh yeah, you were talking about.
Do you know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah, I know,
Because
you are the character,
Mr.
so you want to be. If anything, you were the one saying stuff. You don't want some other rando, you know, taking your character away from you.
I'm thinking about it. I think the only time in the Call of Duty series where I've really felt like the character I was supposed to be was in the missions towards the end of Modern Warfare 2, where you become Soap McTavish, because you've been seeing him the whole way through. In this, I remember when I played this level, I thought this was great, this level. I didn't really feel like Hudson particularly.
no, sure. But then I never really felt like Roach in Modern Warfare 2.
Did you not?
You know, but I think part of it is that, like, everyone knows Soap. Like, people did the whole of Call of Duty 4 as Soap, and then he was taken away and then given back.
Yeah.
But when you got him back, you were like, oh, hey, I remember Soap.
This guy.
Whereas,
I liked him. I thought that worked, actually. I think it's interesting that that probably the highlights of both the plots of this and the plot of Modern Warfare 2 were probably, you know, Roach and Captain Price in the last game, and Reznov and Hudson in this.
I kind of feel Reznov, like, what this does well is I do kind of feel Reznov's pain. Like, I understand why he's such an angry man, yeah, because he gets a bit of a shit deal.
He's in a camp for forever.
Especially if you played World at War at the end, you're like, oh, things might be alright for Reznov now, like, the war's over. And you play this and you're like...
You see, I think you maybe would bring that with you, because I've not played World at War, so I liked him as a character, but I certainly didn't feel his pain. You know, Primo Levi, it is not.
Yeah.
I suppose, but the level where the flashback level, I thought was very, very good.
That was excellent as well.
And because maybe Dragovich and Kravchenko aren't quite really developed as villains, but you know that's their moment to show how much of a bastards they are, isn't it? Like when you do that, and
you see, this is great. The other thing I really like, sorry to interject, the thing I really like about this game, and I think this game actually does it even better really than Modern Warfare 2, is that you've got all these great guns which you kind of use in the multiplayer and stuff, and okay, you do use throughout the campaign, but this thing where it presents you with an entire like library of guns to pick what you like, I like that. I think that's a nice approach to level design. I mean, if they had that in every level.
What, you mean picking the guns right now?
Yeah, like this thing on the wall, you know.
Obviously, I naturally chose the biggest one.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Compensating for something, are we, Tom?
Yes, he is.
Precisely
You
right.
know that for a fact.
Yep. Yeah.
I like that Clark's a little bit mad.
Yeah, yeah. I see what you mean,
You're only in the level for him. You know, you only see him for quite a short time, but he's quite mad.
You know his name. What's his name?
Clark. Yes,
That's
Dr. Clark.
Dr. Clark.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the guy we've been escorting for the.
You'll forgive me for not being massively concerned for his safety, but oh yeah, no, this is good. Here we go.
He's just a
Don't
madman.
worry.
He's absolutely ballistic.
Don't worry, I've got you. I will find you. Whatever happens, I will find you. And any last
Wait for
words?
it.
Have your valediction, boyo.
It's
Bye-bye.
Oh dear.
Some guy in Hong Kong was walking home with his,
He's got a
his
so
dinner,
McTavish haircut.
and just brains rained down into his dinner as he was walking home. Imagine that, you're walking home and you think, oh no, is that bird crap? And then you rub it off and it's actually
And brain.
it's
Dr.
actually
Clark just
mental
lands on you.
brains.
And then the body next to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then the body lands on here. To be fair, you would probably be alerted by the sound of gunfire over there.
For the record,
you died.
this bit's a
Yeah.
complete douche on veteran.
Yeah, this is obviously a veteran, no doubt.
No, but it is genuinely. It's a
Is that because the drop? You get hurt in the
Yeah,
drop, don't
you get the drop. You got to kill them first. You get the drop, and they hurt, and then if they shoot you, you die. So.
There are certain moments in this that I've identified as like problem areas where you just seem to die to the point of frustration. This is one of them. There's the bit, the KSI level where you've got to kick the stupid barrels.
Oh yeah, that is an absolute
Like,
pain. I
I
remember
missed that at the first. That was like the most notorious bit of the game, and I totally missed it.
Yeah, that's yeah. I wasn't a big fan of that bit. And there's a bit in when you launch the rocket in level 4,
Yeah.
where you've got to go
Yeah.
through all these underground tunnels to escape.
Yeah, I remember.
Those are like the 3 worst bits.
I think the only thing this needs is...
Veteran.
I know that the zombies thing is Treyarch's, like, calling card.
I enjoy it.
You know.
I enjoy
yeah, it's alright,
zombies.
but
I think it's good
it's
with
not
a
as much
group
fun
of
as
friends.
Spec Ops. I know Martin doesn't agree with me on this one, but I really liked Spec Ops in the last game.
Right.
But you certainly get your money's worth, don't you? It's
There's a lot of features in here.
we've been quite critical. Well, I've been quite critical, but I do like it a lot. And the multiplayer was excellent too.
Well, you're critical on it because it's one of the best games of the year.
Exactly.
You know, and it's good.
Yeah, it is pretty good, isn't it? It's alright.